Hello, everybody. Today we'll just be doing a bonsai prune on the Chinese elm again. So we might as well make a start. As you can probably tell, I'm not speaking in the video. I'm recording the audio after because I had such issues with the audio. So with a much nicer microphone, hopefully, we won't have any peaking or anything like that. So as you can see, it's growing out quite a lot. I decided that I would cut it back now because this is basically growth. So I cut it one time off a video, which I couldn't record, unfortunately, because it was truly getting out of order. Now, normally in winter, when you have bonsai trees, they don't really grow all that much. So keeping the plant inside, specifically a Chinese elm, it needs a little bit more work than what you'd normally do to the tree if it was just kept outside. So another example would be during the summer, you need to water the pot damn near every day because it's so hot, it's drying out that quick. Especially with Akadama, because it's so aerated, the water just like evaporates damn near immediately. So that's during summer, but during winter, normally if you kept this tree outside, it wouldn't grow, like all the leaves would drop off. It is a deciduous tree, so all the leaves would drop off, and then you probably wouldn't have to water it. Maybe once a month, I would think. Like the water retention, especially, you'd have water coming down from the sky as well. Now, if it's inside, as you can see, the leaves have stayed on all year round. Now, some people might say, "Oh, that's bad for the tree." I'm just here to have a bit of fun. If the tree dies, I'm sure I'll be able to grow something either from the stump or whatever. It won't fully die. Honestly, it's just about learning. So, you can probably see as well from if you look at the base. So, although it looks a bit off color, that is a very small amount of mold, but it's mainly all moss that was just taken from like the roadside basically, like, and that was just placed straight onto the pot. Now sometimes you've got to be careful with where you get your moss because it might have chemicals in, or it might have pests, etc., etc. If you're very concerned about that, you can just wash the moss in a little tub, let's say, of water. Now, I had a major problem with this tree when it came to aphids. So initially, when I got the tree, again, it's the only place that they could really come from was when I actually got the tree itself. So I think they came with the tree. Um, they're an absolute nightmare. They spit sugar poop everywhere. They steal the energy basically from the sap in the like this. They stick their needle bit into the plant and then just suck out the tree's lifeblood, basically the sap, and then poop out the contents after they've taken energy from it. So there's currently two types. Now I'm not sure if they're the same type of aphid, but there's currently black fly and white fly. Now, black fly is quite easy to spot, but white fly can sometimes be a little bit trickier. Now, if you do see them, the best approach I've found is a combination of fairy liquid or just like a dishwash soap, with water, and then you spritz the water all over the plant. And I don't mean like you just sprit. When I say spritz, I mean you dump water onto the plant because you need basically for the water, the soapy water, to be able to touch the underneath of the leaves, the tops of the leaves, the branches, anywhere that the aphids could hide. If there's somewhere that water does not touch, the aphid will be fine. It won't feel anything. Basically, what that soapy water does is it suffocates the aphid and hardens it, so it can't actually get any oxygen flow. Uh, now, so that's about the bonsai tree. I think soon, either next month or maybe in the next prune video, I'll do a crotch growth removal. So you might be able to see it in the tree, but towards in the main, you could say 3 or 4 branches, there is quite a few twigs, and normally people, experts would be like, oh, that's messy, but I just do it when I like, I prefer to focus either doing shoots, which is what I'm doing now, or I prefer to focus on just the branches themselves and make and clean them up. So hopefully that will be next video. Um, and then I'd like to talk a little bit about myself as well recently. So I've become a bit obsessed with this idea of moving, but not just moving like job or city, but moving country, and specifically Japan. So I've actually recently taken up learning hiragana, katakana, and kanji, and then hopefully, again, this is a very long term goal, but just moving country and moving to a different culture completely. Now, I'll be honest. Kanji seems very daunting. Hiragana was relatively easy to learn the sounds in the alphabet. Actually, making words, I'm making a few mistakes, but I think on the whole, I'm getting the idea. And I know katakana is something that I'm yet to learn as well. But I think again, it will be similar to hiragana, just a little bit less easy to learn because you don't use it as much. Um, so I think learn the language number one, and then attempt to move. You could say either within my current job, or just apply for a different job over there. I know that the visas actually can be really tricky, mainly because if you don't have a job already in the country and that's willing to cover the cost of the visa, you have to have either like a sports personality, or you have to contribute to Japan, or like have a bachelor's degree of 3 years minimum in like some special field. So like let's say for example, um, I'm not doing a master's or whatever. I'm not. Uh, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? If you don't have a degree in the relevant field that you're going there for, so let's say, for example, you're a stargazer, but you don't have a degree in astronomy. Why? Oh, why you do that in Japan? I'm not really sure because I know it's very densely populated. Um, you'd struggle. You really struggle to get in the country, get a visa, to my understanding. So I think the best approach is probably to have conversations through work and then say, look, do you know anybody in the country? Are they looking for people to work for them, etc., etc. Um, so what to do next, really? Yeah, I think just have those conversations and then keep learning. Like, don't do some people say, oh, it's a complicated language. Some people say, oh, it's not. I mean, it has three alphabets, one alphabet of which is 2,000 characters long, being kanji. So I think, yeah, it's complicated. Don't understate it, but equally, don't get scared by the complication. There's no point in that. Now the reasons of why. So a lot of people have asked me like, well, why do you want to do it? Why? I'm just like, honestly, the food, number one, because I'm a big foodie. The food over there is insane. So you can buy, like, it doesn't matter what price it is as well. So you can buy, let's say, 10 quid's worth of food. It will be some of the best food that you've had. You can buy 10 quid's worth of food here in the UK, and it will be awful. God awful. Um, and obviously, like, yes, that's hit and miss, but over in Japan, just the consistency of that quality is just crazy. Whereas you normally have to pay like hundreds of pounds to get that hit. The quality of life, so in London especially, obviously our air quality is an issue. Just tubes. Like, I don't know. It's just the people, man. Like it's hard to describe it, but like everyone's focused on themselves. And yes, I know. Like, yeah, you're going to be a metropolis or whatever. That's fine. I ain't got a problem with that. But it's like the social respect that they have over there. Like, for example, the number of crimes that are committed is like 0.3 per 100,000 or 10,000. Hey, Google it. Don't take this as your source of information. I'm not Joe Rogan. Um, but yeah, I think it's just that culture of respect and like social boundaries, and like you respect the social like structure, I guess, right? Like you're not loud in public places, etc., etc. Um, and like so what made me arrive at this? So it was like I think I went through Christmas and I was back home and I was having a great time. I had my dogs. I was very happy. But then like I got to mid-January and I went, okay, so you've been doing your job. It's great. It's basically just working. Next promotion, keep going, keep going. But then I was like, what do I do? Like after that, and if you've got a bit of money, so living in Japan would be pretty cool. And so I figured, well, okay, so why don't you do that? And it's like that inner monologue of, I don't know. So just go do it. Just like if you want to change, or if you want change, I should say, you should change. Is a good motto to live by. Now, this is a good point to pick on. So I'm currently checking the leaves for any aphids. I'm not just looking at them like a madman. So I'm basically trying to see. Luckily I can't find any, but I did see some this morning, which did cause me to cut off the branches. So basically what I was going to do was show you the different types of aphids that were on the plant, but I couldn't find any black fly or white fly on them. So yeah, that's just been my sort of thought process, mainly surrounding Japan and like life in general. But this Tuesday at chess club, I got a really good win against one of the higher rated. You could call them old guys in the club. But he's yeah, he just made like a blunder towards the end of the game, and I was just absolutely elated. I loved it. I think that was, yeah, Tuesday. The well, I should say high rated to me. I think I'm 1/200, so I'm base level in over the board, but then online I'm 1/100 on chess.com. But yeah, it's pretty fun. Not gonna lie. So now we're just checking to see if there's any insects left over on any of the leaves that have been cut off. So basically gives you an idea of how bad either the infestation or how the insect population is on the leaves that have been cut off. Because normally they won't really be on the leaves that are old, like the dark green ones. They'll be on the lighter ones because they have much thinner cell walls. Well, not cell walls, branch walls to penetrate and get into the nice juicy sap, basically. So now just a final pose, and then we're going to clean up some last little bits, just that I see in the last second. And the main idea is just like you always want to display the trunk of the tree. At least that's what I go for. So yeah, there we go, looking real good. So now I'm just brushing the leaves to see if I can get any last bits off, like leaves, etc., or insects. And I should, yeah, again in the camera light, the moss looks awful, god awful, like terrible. But in real life, it's really not that bad. It's like a light brown tinge, which is the tips. Oh, I give a little thumbs up. Yeah, yay! The light brown tips, and then a green base. But beyond that, yeah. So this is me signing off. Thanks for watching, everybody.